In the past few weeks, I've had several breakthroughs in administering the cure. First were the fields Cassia's mother told us about, which allowed us to make more of the cure and get it out to people quickly. Then we figured out how to synthesize the proteins with a seagull lily in the laboratory. The best minds left in the Rising and the Society have come together to try and make this work. So far, it has. People are getting better, and if the mutation comes back, we have a cure. Unless, of course, the virus changes again. But for now, the data says the worst has passed. I wouldn't trust the data except that Cassia's the one who sorted it. Now we're heading towards a different time. Once people are well, they'll need to choose what kind of world that it is they want to live in. I don't know that we're going to come through that as well as we came through the plague. You saved the world, my father likes to say. It was luck. I tell him, we've always been lucky. And we have this. Take a look at my family. My brother went back to the borough from Oria City when the plague first broke, and they all managed to keep from getting sick until near the end. And even when they did fall ill, Kai arrived just in time to bring them back here so we could heal them. We tried to hold the borough together, my father says. To his credit, they did. They rationed and shared their food and looked after each other for as long as they could. It's not like they did anything wrong. My family has always believed if you worked hard and did the right thing, you were likely to have it all work out. And they're not stupid. They know it doesn't always go that way. They've seen terrible things happen, and it's torn them up. But that is close as they've been in real suffering. I'm also a hypocrite, because nothing bad has really happened to me either. Kai's family has disappeared entirely. Cassia's family lost her father, but not us, not the Caros. We're all fine, even my brother who never did join the Rising. I was wrong about him. I've been wrong about a lot of things, but the cure we made does work. When it's time for my break, I leave the medical center and walk out towards the river that goes through the center of the city of Cadmus. Now that the barricade's down and the mutation is under control, people have taken again to walking along the river. There's a set of cement steps cut into the embankment not far from the medical center. Kai and Cassia go there sometimes when he's back from an errand, and once I found him there alone watching the water. I sat down beside him. Thank you, I say. It was the first time I've seen him since he brought my family in for the cure. Kai nods. I couldn't bring my own family back, he says. I hoped I'd find yours. And you did, I say, trying to keep the bitterness out of my voice, exactly where society left them. Kai's raised an eyebrow. I'm glad they're back, I told him. I'll owe you the rest of my life for bringing them in. Who knows how long it would have taken for them to get the cure otherwise. What's the least I could do, Kai says. You and Cassia are the ones who cured me. How did you know you loved her? I asked Kai. When you first fell for her, she didn't really know you. She didn't know anything about where you've been. Kai didn't answer right away. He looked out at the water. I had to put a body in the river once, he said finally, before all this. An apparition died in camp earlier in the society plan. The officer made us get rid of the evidence. That's when I first met Vic. I nodded. He heard them talk about Vic. Vic had fallen in love with someone who he wasn't supposed to have, Kai says. He ended up dying for it. Then Kai looked at me. I wanted to stay alive after my family died, he says. But I didn't feel like I was living again until I met Cassia. But you didn't feel like she really knew you, did you? I asked again. No, Kai says. But I felt like she could. I started down the wide steps to the water. Kai's not there this time. But I see someone else. I know. It's Lee. With her long black hair. It's been days since I've seen her. Even in passing, after she recovered, she went back to work. Our paths have rarely crossed since. When they have, we both nod and smile and say hello. She likely knows that I'm working on the cure, but I haven't had a chance to talk with her. I hesitate, but she looks up and she smiles, gesturing for me to come closer. I sit down next to her and I feel like a fool. I don't know where to begin. But she does. Where did you go? She asks me. To the mountains, I say. The pilot took some of us there. That's where we found the cure. And you were the one to do it? She says. No. I say, Cassia figured it out. Your match, she says. Yes, I say. She's alive, she's fine, she's here. I think I've seen her, Lee says, talking with you. Her eyes search mine, trying to learn what I haven't said. She's in love with someone else, I say. Lee puts her hand on mine very gently for a moment. I'm sorry, she says. What about your match? I ask. Have you been able to find him? She turns her face away then, and her hair swishes across the back of her neck, and I remember when we checked each other for the mark during those days in the medical center. He died, she says, before the plague came. I'm sorry, I say. I think I knew before they told me, Lee says. I think I could feel him gone. I'm struck again by the sound of her voice. It's beautiful. Like, I would like to hear her sing. That must sound ridiculous to you, she says. No, I say, it doesn't. Something jumps in the river and I start a little. Fish, Lee says, looking back at me. One of those ones you told me about, I ask. No, she says. That one was silver, not red. Where did you go? I asked Lee. She doesn't know what I mean. Where did you go when you were still? I was swimming most of the time, she says, like those fish. One of the ones I told you about. I had a different body. I knew I wasn't really a fish. But it was easier than thinking about what was happening. I wonder why everyone thinks about the water, I say. Kai did the same. He told us he was on the ocean with that girl who died, Indy. I think, Lee says, because the sky seems so too far. It doesn't feel like it will hold you the way the water can. Or because your lungs are being filled with fluid that you can't always clear. But neither of us give the medical explanation, though we both know it. I don't know what to say. When I look at Lee, I think she might be the kind of person who could do what she said that water could, hold someone up. I imagine pulling her close and kissing her. I can picture letting go, going under with her. Her face changes. She must be able to see what I'm thinking. I stand up, disgusted with myself. I'm not in any condition to love someone. And she just lost her match and came back from the mutation. We're both alone. I have to go, I say.